Football is a violent sport, which is what makes evaluating players still in high school so difficult. With how prevalent injuries are at all levels, it's tough to predict who will actually make it to the NFL. That's what makes things like the USA Today, All-USA high school football team, so intriguing. These young men were among the best of the best, but many of them never found NFL greatness. Today, we're taking a look back at the 1996 USA Today All-USA team and seeing what happened to all 25 players, starting with the offense. Travis Minor, running back. Minor played his high school ball in Baton Rouge, totaling nearly 5,000 yards rushing and 52 touchdowns during his career. The 5'10 back added 1,344 yards and 20 touchdowns as a receiver, firmly planting himself as one of the best offensive players in his class. Minor left Louisiana to play college ball at Florida State. He never became an all-time collegiate star, but he is firmly in the Hall of Very Good after his 4-year career with the Noles. He ran for 3,128 yards and 28 touchdowns, adding 831 yards and 3 scores as a receiver. As of 2024, he's still in 4th all-time for the Noles in rushing yards. In '99, Minor helped lead FSU to the BCS title game alongside several other guys we'll get to shortly. In 2001, the Dolphins picked Minor in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. He played in the league for 8 seasons, mostly with Miami, serving as a change of pace backup throughout much of his career. Minor left the NFL after the 2008 season with 1,230 yards and 8 touchdowns. Outside of a bit of legal trouble that ultimately turned out to be nothing, Minor has largely stayed out of the public eye in the years since, though he has done some public speaking over the years. Ronald Curry, quarterback. Curry is the first player to make the All-USA team as a high school junior. He also made this team and the McDonald's All-American roster as a senior, so I'll certainly be talking about him again in future videos. In fact, Curry might just be the best high school athlete we've ever seen. We're talking about a guy who overshadowed Mike Vick during their high school days in Virginia and was also one of the best basketball players in the country. Curry was originally committed to play football and basketball at Virginia, but he switched to North Carolina, leading Virginia fans to call him Benedict Curry. During his first 2 seasons at UNC, Curry played football and basketball, starting at quarterback when healthy, and coming off the bench to play basketball alongside fellow 2-sport star Julius Peppers in 2000. On the gridiron, Curry struggled as he had to endure several coaching changes, never really breaking out like many assumed he would. That said, he did have 2 incredible bowl performances, winning MVP honors in the '98 Las Vegas Bowl and the 2001 Peach Bowl. Over his 4-year career, Curry threw for 4,987 yards, 28 TDs, and 35 INTs, adding 1,249 yards and 13 touchdowns as a runner. Despite the up-and-down college career, the Raiders took a flyer on Curry in the 7th round of the 2002 draft. He switched to wide receiver before the season started, slowly working himself into a larger role by 2003. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL just 12 weeks into the 2004 season. He'd been having a mini breakout that year with 50 catches for 697 yards and 6 touchdowns. He re-aggravated the injury the next season, missing all but 2 games. He came back to play well for 3 more seasons, finishing his 7-year run in Oakland with 193 catches, 2,347 yards, and 13 touchdowns. In 2009, he signed with the Lions and Rams, but was released from both before the season. He soon jumped into coaching, working his way up to the NFL by 2014. As of 2024, he's working as the quarterback's coach for the Buffalo Bills. Jasper Sanks, running back. Sanks played at Carver High and Fort Union Military Academy during his prep career, rushing for over 5,000 yards and once even kicking a 48-yard field goal. He attended Georgia for college ball, but missed most of his freshman season after a hernia surgery. He came back the next year to lead the Dogs in rushing with 896 yards and 6 touchdowns. That would end up being his best season, as Sanks missed time during his next 2 years with various injuries. He was also kicked off the team toward the end of his senior season after getting his third strike for marijuana use. Sanks wasn't drafted and soon moved into sales, where he continues to work as of 2025. Tony Driver, running back. Driver left Louisville to play college football in Notre Dame. As a freshman, he ran for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. The next year, he switched to DB and picked off 2 passes. Driver then spent some more time at running back as a junior, running for 187 yards and 4 TDs. As a senior, Driver again moved back to safety, adding 2 more interceptions. The Bills selected Driver in the 6th round of the 2001 draft as a defensive back. He played in 11 games across 2 seasons, totaling 4 tackles and averaging 20 yards as a kick returner. Since then, he's largely been out of the public eye, though his Instagram says he's working as a personal trainer in 2025. His daughter played college soccer at Florida Atlantic. Tam Hopkins, offensive line. Hopkins left Florida to play at Ohio State. As with most linemen, it's tough to find any concrete stats, but he played well enough during his career to get a free agent contract with Washington in 2001. He also spent time with Jacksonville's practice squad that season before signing with the Giants in 2002 and playing in 16 games, starting 1. He spent a few more years on training camp and practice squads, even playing in NFL Europe for a season in 2005. He eventually went back to school to earn his degree and has been working back in Florida ever since. He did try to do some coaching at the high school level, but looks to have left that world behind. Victor Rogers, offensive line. Big Vic left Seattle to play college ball at Colorado, helping the Buffs win the Big 12 in 2001. The Lions picked the 6'6" tackle in the 7th round of the 2002 draft. While he only played in 1 career game, Rogers stuck on the roster for 3 seasons. He hasn't been in the limelight much in the years since, but does work with the online mentoring company Before You Go Pro, which helps young players learn more about dealing with the realities of playing in college and the NFL. Rogers also works in medical sales as of 2024. Jason Brooks, offensive line. The 6'4" Brooks played his college ball at West Virginia. He didn't play in the pros. Instead, he took his degree and moved back to Ohio. He opened a barbecue restaurant in Cleveland that's still open in 2025. Leonard Davis, offensive line. Davis stayed in-state to attend the University of Texas. Originally, he spent time at defensive tackle, but when Mack Brown took over, the 6'6" big man moved to the offensive line. There, he opened holes for 3 straight 1,000-yard rushers, including being a part of the line that blocked for Ricky Williams during his Heisman season. He was named a consensus All-American in 2000, and the Cardinals selected him 2nd overall in the 2001 draft. Davis started every game as a rookie, making the All-Rookie team and finishing 4th in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting. However, injuries to other players along the line forced Davis to switch from guard to tackle. He struggled slightly during those years, becoming one of the more highly penalized players in the league. That said, he was still a reliable starter, and the Cowboys gave him a big contract in 2007 to switch back to his preferred right guard position. He responded by making 3 straight Pro Bowls and 1 second-team All-Pro roster. His huge contract ended up being something of an albatross for Dallas, and he was released after 4 seasons to open up cap space. He spent a year with the Lions, but never played. Davis then spent the 2012 season with the 49ers as a backup, retiring after the team lost in the Super Bowl. As of 2025, he's coaching high school football in Arizona. Kareem McKenzie, offensive line. After only 2 years of high school football, McKenzie went to Penn State to play offensive tackle. He quickly became a solid player for the Nittany Lions, making second-team All-Big Ten in '98 and 2000 and first-team All-Big Ten in '99. The Jets picked the 6'6" tackle in the 3rd round of the 2001 draft. He spent 4 years with the Jets, establishing himself as the starting right tackle in 2002. McKenzie became known as a strong run blocker, helping pave the way for Curtis Martin to rush for 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. However, he left the team in 2005 to join the Crosstown Giants. He continued to open big holes for his running backs, helping Tiki Barber run for a franchise record 1,860 yards in '05. He also helped New York win 2 titles in 2007 and 2011. Of course, some would argue that he maybe should have been called for a block in the back during David Tyree's helmet catch, but what can you do? After the 2011 title, McKenzie became a free agent and didn't sign with another team. Instead, he went back to school to earn his PhD and works as a licensed professional counselor as of 2025. Steve Shipp, wide receiver. Shipp started his college career at Florida, redshirting in 97. In 98, he caught 1 pass for -4 yards. As far as I can tell, that's the extent of his on-field Florida career. After the season, he transferred to North Carolina A&T to finish out his college career. I wasn't able to find his full stats, but it looks like he at least showed flashes of talent, catching 6 passes for 183 yards in a 2000 game. After earning his degree, Shipp immediately hopped into coaching. As of 2025, he's working as the offensive coordinator at Johnson C. Smith, an HBCU in North Carolina. His son Jordan signed to play with UNC and caught 9 passes for 114 yards and 1 touchdown in 2024. Ken-Yon Rambo, wide receiver. Rambo left California to join Tam Hopkins at Ohio State. The 6'1 wideout played sparingly as a freshman and sophomore before being named a starter in 99. He responded with 41 catches for 833 yards and 6 touchdowns. His senior year was similar, with 51 catches for 729 yards and 2 TDs. Not the dominant career some expected, but more than solid. The Raiders selected him in the 7th round of the 2001 draft, waiving him before the season started. Rambo caught on with the Cowboys and played a bit as a return specialist. That said, he did get some time as a receiver in 2002 after Rocket Ishmael was injured, catching 14 balls for 211 yards. He was released after the season and did a short stint with the Jets before moving to the CFL. In 2008, he was named a CFL All-Star and helped the Stampeders win the Grey Cup. He won another Grey Cup in 2012 while playing for the Argonauts. He retired after the season with career CFL numbers of 416 catches for 6,119 yards and 39 touchdowns. Soon after, he started working for a sports performance company. He's still there as of 2025. Billy-Dee Greenwood, athlete. Greenwood played his college ball at North Carolina, playing safety for the Tar Heels. He was the team's leading tackler several times and was named the co-defensive MVP during his sophomore season. He did not play pro ball, instead jumping into a career in law enforcement with the Raleigh Police Department. He worked there for 7 years before moving into a few other related roles and earning his master's degree. As of 2025, he's working as a vice president at an insurance company. Sebastian Janikowski, kicker. Janikowski's father was a pro soccer player in Poland, scoring 2 goals for his national team in just 3 appearances. The elder Janikowski moved to the US in the early 80s, hoping to revive his career and divorce Seabass's mom. He then married an American citizen, paving the way for Janikowski to come to the US before he started high school. Before coming over, Seabass proved to be an excellent soccer player, making the Polish U17 national team at just 15 years old. He continued to play soccer in the States, but was convinced to kick for his high school team at Seabreeze in Daytona Beach, Florida. He was an incredible kicker, once booting an 82-yarder during a practice session. Florida State and several other schools offered him a scholarship, and Seabass decided to head to Tallahassee. He was instantly one of the best kickers in the nation. Janikowski won the Groza Award while also making the All-American team in back-to-back seasons in 98 and 99. He also helped the Noles win the 1999 BCS National Championship. Scouts were drooling at his talent, but were wary about all the hard partying he'd been doing down in Tallahassee. He had been charged with bribing a cop and suspicion of felony possession of the drug GHB. With those 2 charges, Seabass was potentially facing jail time or deportation. Still, the Raiders picked him 17th overall in the 2000 draft. Fortunately for them, he was acquitted of all charges by 2001. Seabass spent the next 17 years playing in Oakland. Over that period, Janikowski made 99% of his extra points and 80% of his field goals. That includes making 55 of 100 attempts from further than 50 yards. Seabass was always known for his huge leg, and he tied the then record for longest field goal at 63 in 2011. He also once attempted a 76-yard field goal, which is plain silly. Despite all that, Seabass only made one Pro Bowl team and one All-Pro team, both coming in 2011. He kicked for the Raiders through the 2016 season. Seabass missed the 2017 season with injury before kicking for the Seahawks to end his career in 2018. As of 2020, he's living back in Florida, spending time with his family, and enjoying his retirement after making big bucks as a kicker. And now for the defense. David Warren, defensive line. Warren is best known in Texas high school football circles for the 1994 regional semifinal game between John Tyler and Plano East. The two teams scored a combined 51 points in the fourth quarter, with John Tyler eventually coming out on top, 48-44. Trust me, it's one of the wildest endings you'll ever see in a football game. Warren caught one touchdown pass and returned a fumble 36 yards for another score, doing his part to add to the madness. He continued to play well throughout high school and won his district in the 200-meter dash, showing off his incredible athleticism before heading to Florida State. With the Noles, Warren played in nearly every game as a true freshman, getting one sack as a backup defensive end. He continued to serve as a solid backup over the next two seasons, helping the Noles win the '99 championship with 2 sacks and 3 forced fumbles that year. Warren spent one last season at FSU before heading to the 2001 NFL Draft. He wasn't selected, but did play a bit on the Colts and Raiders practice squads from 01 to 03. He then played 2 games for the BC Lions in the Canadian Football League before retiring in 2003. As of 2020, he was working in business back in Texas. Thomas Pittman, defensive line. The 6'4" lineman was set to attend Auburn, but was drafted by the Montreal Expos in the first round of the '97 amateur draft. He spent 5 years playing in the minors, never getting higher than A+ ball. He did hit 22 homers and 97 RBIs in '99, but his power didn't transfer to higher levels, and various injuries hurt his development. He then spent some time at Florida before entering the NFL draft. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he played pro ball outside of a few training camps. Sports is something of a family business for the Pittmans. Thomas's brother Darwin played quarterback and wide receiver. His other brother Kirsten played at LSU, and Darwin's son DeAndre was playing for Idaho as of 2021. Cosey Coleman, defensive line. Coleman left Georgia to play college ball at Tennessee, but switched to the offensive line. Under Phil Fulmer, Coleman was a starter for pretty much his entire career. He was a 2-time first-team All-SEC selection and was named a consensus All-American in '99. He also helped the Vols win the '98 BCS national title. Coleman skipped his senior season, and the Bucs picked him in the second round of the 2000 draft. After missing about half of his rookie season, he firmly planted himself as the starting right guard in Tampa Bay for the next 4 seasons. That included the 2002 season, when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. In 2005, he joined the Browns, playing there for 2 seasons before retiring due to continuing complications with his knee. After that, Coleman went back to school to earn his degree. As of 2025, he's working as an assistant coach for a high school team and has spent some time working in insurance. Maurice Williams, defensive line. Like Coleman, Williams switched to offensive line when he signed with the University of Michigan. He was mostly a role player during his first few seasons, but started every game in 2000, making the Big Ten honorable mention list. The Jags picked him in the second round of the 2001 draft. He played there for 9 seasons, starting every game he was healthy for through 2006. During those seasons, he played right tackle, but he switched to guard in 2007. He was again a starter to start the season, but he picked up an injury and missed some time. He then hurt his neck in 2008, missing all but 1 game. He played in 5 more games in 2009 before being waived. Williams then spent a training camp with the Broncos before retiring. He quickly got into coaching and is working as a high school head coach in Florida as of 2025. Andre Carter, defensive line. Carter was born in Denver, where his father Ruben played for the Broncos. The younger Carter played his high school ball at Oak Grove and San Jose. he kept it local and played college ball at Cal Berkeley. With the Golden Bears, he was named a second-team All-Pac-10 player in '98 and moved up to the first team in '99 and 2000. During the latter season, Carter was also a unanimous All-American and won the Morris Trophy. Carter also finished as a finalist for the Nagurski Trophy, capping a star-studded college career. The 49ers selected him with the 7th pick in the 2001 draft. He spent 5 years in San Francisco, establishing himself as a sack-threaded outside linebacker, even posting 12.5 sacks in 2002. In '06, Carter signed a free agent contract with Washington, moving back to defensive end. At his natural position, Carter racked up 34 sacks and 52 tackles for loss over 5 seasons. However, the team brought in Mike Shanahan in 2010, moving Carter back to OLB again when the team switched to a 3-4. He was released after the season and signed with the Patriots. During his first season, Carter made the Pro Bowl team behind 10 sacks and 13 TFLs, while tying the franchise record with 4 sacks in a single game. Sadly, he picked up an injury toward the end of the season and didn't re-sign with the team. Instead, he spent a year in Oakland before joining the Pats once again in 2013 to finish out his career. He's since become a coach at both the NCAA and NFL level, working as the pass rush specialist with the Raiders as of 2025. Hubert Thompson, linebacker. Thompson went to Michigan State to play college ball. While a great on-field talent during his high school days and at times in college, Thompson often ran into off-field trouble. That included being ejected from the 2000 Citrus Bowl for fighting with the Florida lineman and being cut for starting a fight during a New Orleans Saints minicamp after he left school. He did have a short stint in the XFL back in 2001, but was out of football soon after. Sadly, Thompson was charged with murder after throwing a neighbor from a third-floor apartment balcony in 2007. In '09, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was sent to a high-security mental institution to receive treatment. As of 2017, he was still living in a facility in Illinois. Grant Irons, linebacker. Irons was born in Ohio, but moved to the Woodlands, Texas for high school ball. He comes from a family of football players. His dad, Gerald, played linebacker for the Raiders and Browns. His cousin Paul played tight end for Florida State and the Browns. Another cousin, Kenny, played running back for Auburn and the Bengals. A third cousin, David, played cornerback for Auburn and the Falcons. And his older brother, Jarrett, played linebacker at Michigan. Grant played his college ball at Notre Dame, where the 6'6" defensive end played well enough to convince the Bills to sign him as an undrafted free agent in 2002. He appeared in 15 games, totaling 2.5 sacks. Irons signed with the Raiders after the season and spent 4 years in Oakland. However, he was hurt during 3 of those 4 seasons, so his impact was limited. Since then, he's mostly been out of the public eye and is seemingly working in the business world. Ron Graham, linebacker. Graham had a tough road at Penn State. Over the years, he battled academic issues, weight management problems, and a position change. However, he finally became a starter during his senior season and, by all reports, played solid football. He did not play pro ball, instead moving into a career as a teacher. As of 2025, he's working as the Dean of Students at a school in Philadelphia. Deon Grant, defensive back. Grant left Georgia to join Coleman at Tennessee. There, he grew into a consensus All-American in '99, leading the countries in interceptions with 9. He was also a member of the title-winning Vols in '98. The Panthers picked him in the second round of the 2000 draft. Unfortunately, he broke his hip and missed his rookie season. When he came back, he started every game at safety for Carolina, even grabbing 3 picks in 1 game against Minnesota. Grant started for the Panthers for 3 seasons, grabbing 11 INTs and 41 pass breakups. He then spent 3 years with Jacksonville and 3 with Seattle, before finishing his career with the Giants in 2010 and 11. During that final season, he won a Super Bowl ring. He ended his career with 30 INTs, 778 tackles, and 6.5 sacks. After retiring, he's been working as a public speaker, investor, and entrepreneur. James Boyd, defensive back. Boyd joined McKenzie and Graham at Penn State. Playing free safety, he grew into a first-team All-Big Ten player by 2000. He was also a semifinalist for the Thorpe Award that season. The Jags picked him in the 3rd round of the 2001 draft. He appeared in 16 games during his rookie season and 10 during his follow-up campaign before being released. He signed with the Browns for training camp in 2005 before leaving the game behind. Soon after, he started a business career in IT and medical sales. As of 2025, he's still working in that field and as an entrepreneur. Derrick Gibson, defensive back. Gibson joined Minor, Seabass, and Warren at Florida State. Of course, that means he helped the team win a title in '99, but Gibson was also a solid player on his own. He made second team All-ACC in '99 and first team in 2000, wrapping up his career with 214 tackles, 7 INTs, and 16 pass deflections. The Raiders selected him with the 28th pick in the 2001 draft. He spent his entire 5-year career there, starting 32 of 69 games and racking up 196 tackles, 3 INTs, and 16 pass deflections. He retired in 2006 and quickly got into coaching at the high school level. He worked with high schools until 2022, when he was brought in as the safeties coach at Florida Atlantic, a position he still holds as of 2025. Toby Sheers, punter. Okay, this was a tough one to track down any info. Sheers went to Mesa State for college ball, a D2 school in Colorado. They have stats on him from '97. He made 11 of 13 field goals, 11 of 25 extra points. He also had 1 tackle. I'm not sure if he stopped playing after the season, but Sheers eventually enlisted in the Marines, doing 3 tours in Iraq. As of 2019, he was back in his hometown working as a police officer. And that wraps up the '96 All-USA team. I'll have the next team ready in a couple weeks, but if you have any other ideas for football videos you'd like to see, please share them below.